So today we're going to learn how to make milk jug skulls. It's pretty simple, super cheap. You're recycling something and fun to customize, put your own personality into it. So all that you're going to need is a gallon jug, a hot glue gun, a pen of some sort that'll write on the plastic of the jug. An X-Acto knife is helpful for the first cuts, but you can also get by with just a pair of scissors. So the first thing that you want to do is to find the part of your jug that has no sticker, all that stuff. This is mine. Then you're going to draw your template on it. Now this round part is going to be the top of the skull, so make sure that you include that about as far to the outer limits as you can. That will help you out later on to get a nice three-dimensional shape to your skull. These are going to be the cheekbones, and this is like the front jaw and the top. So the nose will go about here. Feel free to Google, images of skulls, that might help. And let me see. I haven't decided yet. I might put my teeth down here a little bit. So here where the eyes go, you can add a lot of expression just by changing the shape and appearance of the eyes. And that would be the top part of my skull. And then we're going to use this nice three-dimensional shape on the bottom for the jaw. So again, trace around there. At this time, the seam is actually going to help you. If you can see this little seam here, you want to trace that down, go around. Most milk jugs have this sort of textured area at the bottom, and so you're just going to trace until you get to the bottom of that. We're going to end up folding this, and it's going to be the main thing that gives our skeleton, our skull, a nice three-dimensional shape. So here's where I'm going to put my bottom teeth. And then we only need a few more parts. I have got a sort of dented milk jug, but I'll be able to fix that in a little bit. So we're also going to need the other parts of the head. If you're planning on painting it later anyways, you can go ahead and use the parts with the stamps. These come on different areas of the jugs depending on what kind of jug it is, but if it's not in the way, then you can go ahead and use that. Use this area at the bottom. And I think I am going to use this area and just hope that it comes out as I cut it. Now the reason I'm making these shapes is they are going to be basically the 3D shape of the head. Now of course you're going to want to take off the sticker as well. I was lucky that most of that came off pretty easy, but if you're having a hard time with it, if you just use a little bit of soap and water and rub it with your finger, it'll come off. So like I said, the X-Acto knife is helpful for making the first cuts. Just gives you a place to shove the scissors into. And also at this point, you definitely just want to focus on the big parts. Don't do the teeth and the eyes till last because it's a lot easier once the shape is not part of the milk jug anymore. So I'm just going to cut around all the lines that I made. Okay, so now I've got all my pieces cut out, but don't throw away your milk jug yet because you are going to need it a little bit more. But the reason why we didn't trace it is because it's going to depend on the shape that you want your skull to end up being in. So here's our jaw part. And we're actually going to put some folds in it. You're going to crease it down the middle, on the sides. Just give it a little bit more of a three-dimensional shape. And the next thing that we are going to need is a roof of a mouth. You want the 2 rows of teeth to line up as much as possible, in which case you're going to need a little strip from the milk jug again, just to make that happen. It can come from anywhere. Somewhere flat's just fine. You want it to be as wide as your teeth, so no wider. Mine's too wide. And then you want it to be long enough to let the back of the jaw fit onto it. So let me turn this over and you can see how it fits. This is where our hot glue gun also comes in. You're going to use one of the flat surfaces of this piece. Put a line of glue just on top of where the row of teeth are. You know, maybe hold it, let it dry, make sure it's secure, not going to fall off. And then you're going to put some glue on these sides and attach right here. So that we have 3D jaw. And especially if you're doing this with kids, it's probably a good idea to either have helpers or use the low temp glue gun. Alright. Now all we have to do is to make the shape of the skull. So, depending on your milk jug, you can either use 4 panels or 3. I'm just going to use 3 because my milk jug has this stamp right here, which isn't letting me use it. If I was going to paint it anyways, I could go ahead and use it. And then if you can imagine, there would just be one more plane on the base of the skull. So glue these pieces together. This is just a very basic way that I've found of making these milk jug skulls. I think every person that does it has their own additions and improvements. So, play around with that. Just gluing. And we're almost done. Last part we need to glue. One thing that can be helpful here is if you put a little slit and stick it in, it can be a bit more secure. And there it is. There's our milk jug skull. It's pretty simple, pretty easy, and hope that you have fun doing it too. You can add a layer of paint to it. It'll stick pretty well. It's up to you. It's already white, so it looks like bone, but the paint will stay on well if you'd like to do that. So there's your milk jug skull.